Hi everyone, my name's Kelly Schakel and I'm a 3-star diamond coach, and I'm super excited about the opportunity to hop on here today and kind of talk to you guys about my experience at the New Leader Conference this last weekend. I can honestly say that it was one of the best experiences of my coaching career, which hasn't been that long. I've only been a coach since summer of 2015, but I walked out of there feeling like I was not only impacted as a coach, but I really felt like I was a better mom, I was a better wife. I had so many tools in my toolkit, and I just am excited to share some of my best takeaways. I thought it might be helpful if I really quickly shared a little bit of background about me as a coach. I became a coach, like I said, in summer of 2015 after having gone through a challenge group and did the 21-day fix. And I became a believer, but when I was approached about becoming a coach, I thought to myself, there's no way. I'm a mom to 4 little kids. I'm a part-time high school teacher. I'm married to a school administrator, and our lives are crazy. But, just knowing how much it had impacted me, and feeling like I could possibly help other women feel like myself, I took the plunge and I jumped in with 2 feet, and I really haven't looked back. And I would say to you, if you can get to live events, it's what's really going to motivate you and push you forward in your business. It really is. And my first live event was a Super Saturday. It was just like a week after I signed up, and I was blown away. Since then, I've been able to attend Summit this last year and a couple other more local events. But I really think New Leader Conference is where it's at. So if you are sitting there, even as a new coach this year, 18 months in, and I was able to qualify. I listened to Ashley Smith, who sat at New Leader Conference last year and ended the year in the top 10. So don't feel like you're too new or you don't have enough information or people aren't going to buy into you, because you can do it. And I walked out of New Leader Conference with this confidence that, whatever I want to do this year, if I put my mind to it, I can. So I literally took like hundreds of notes. I wanted to absorb it all, take it all in. I was super motivated by everything. I wrote down a few points that really stood out to me. And the first one was from Melanie Mitro. And as you know, Melanie is super inspiring. She's the top coach. I can relate to a lot of things with her, being a mom to little ones, and just feeling like you have a lot on your plate. And one of the things that she talked a lot about was time management. Most of you watching can probably relate to feeling like your phone kind of owns you throughout the day. I feel like, I'll be sitting down with my girls, we're playing Barbies, I hear the ding of my phone, somebody messages me and has a question about a challenge pack. And my first reaction is, I've got to get back to them, because if I don't get back to them, they're going to find somebody else to be their coach. And I start to get this panicked feeling like, I've got to answer them or they're going to find someone else and I'm going to lose them as a customer. And so I really started to feel like my phone owned me. And my kids were realizing it, and my husband would realize it. We'd sit down at the couch at night and we'd be watching a show, and we'd be into the show, and it would get to commercial, and immediately I'd get my phone back out and I'd be responding to people or checking in with challengers. And I hated it. And Melanie made a point. She said, you can either manage your time or your time will manage you. And I know so many of you relate to that. So after I went to New Leader Conference, I made a commitment that I'm not going to let my phone own me, and I'm not going to let this business own me. And so Saturday night, a lot of people went out that night at the New Leader Conference. And I went back to my hotel room and I laid everything out on my bed, and I committed to a Google Calendar. I am setting business hours, and you know what? I'm worth the wait, and you're worth the wait. So if you are feeling like you have to be at everyone's beck and call, you need to take a step back. Set business hours for yourself and only respond during those hours. And it's okay. It's small pockets of time. And like today, I'll be taking my girls to ballet. And while they're at ballet, I'll feel okay with messaging people. But when I get home, you can bet when we sit down to dinner, I'm not going to be messaging people anymore. And it almost felt like Melanie gave me permission to not live on my phone. So that was a huge takeaway from from me. Micah Folsom, another really inspiring coach, she talked a lot about team culture. And then that made me think about when I was a new coach and I had this huge warm market and I was signing up all these people. I had all these Success Club points and we put a challenge group together. And that challenge group was rocking. I mean, we had so many people in there that were, motivated and inspired, and we were like, just on fire, and everybody was commenting. And then I noticed that like month after month, we lost a little bit of that. And I've been trying to figure out how to get that back. And that was because they were all new. And so she kind of talked about, separating out people, having new people go together, and then creating that for your coaches too, because we forget that our number one job as a coach is to be a challenger. And this last January, my coaches, some of us teamed up together and started a new group on a challenge tracker app, and we became challengers again. And I've never been more consistent. Like, I did not miss a workout, I did not miss a shake, and it was so fun to go back to that feeling of excitement. So I think we need to create that. We need to stop being boring. We need to change up our scripts, and we need to remember that the coaches on our team also have to be motivated. So another idea she had was success pods. So putting groups of people, like instead of starting another Facebook group, because we're all in about 10 billion Facebook groups, put together message threads. So she puts together a message thread from like all of her coaches, from January, or her coaches who are currently Emerald that are moving to Diamond. So you're really in a group with people who are like you with maybe similar goals, and then they can form success partners within that group too. The nice thing about that is you can check in with it without it being like a text message on your phone, and then you can have people holding each other accountable. You don't have to be running all of these groups. So I really liked that. Another suggestion she had was, instead of doing GSR calls all the time, which can get really time consuming depending on how many coaches you're signing up, do a team GSR call. Group everyone. In the first 2 weeks, anybody who has signed up, put them all together in one group. I loved that idea. And then a quote I wrote from her was, dream big but act small. And don't forget that we have to sometimes go back to the basics. We get all these ideas as a new coach, and as we're building our business, we want to continue to just, come up with all this new stuff, but remember back to when you were a new coach and the things that were working for you, and don't try to reinvent the wheel. Really go back to the basics. And then the final coach that we got to listen to speak was Ashley Smith. And Ashley just did a really nice job about talking about goal setting. She talked about the importance of having a team mission statement, and even the idea of having the team write that together or come up with that. And that's something that I'm definitely going to take away from that. And then coming up with goals that aren't just about your personal success, but business goals, maybe personal goals, team development goals, things like, where do you see yourself with rank and income? Where do you see yourself with relationships? What books do you want to read this year? Where do you see yourself as far as rank? Do you see yourself as an elite coach? Where do you want to be on the leadership ladder? And you've got to continually set those goals. So 12 weeks out from there, a check-in with yourself, hold yourself accountable, tell people, tell your team. It's scary. I've done that. And then because failure, you don't want to fail and let people down. But I think when we tell people our goals, we stay more accountable to those goals. And I always tell my team, aim so high, read the 10 times rule, by the way, but aim so high so that even if you don't get quite to where you were, you're probably a lot better than where you started. And Ashley talked a lot about that. And then, oh my gosh, I could go into every single speaker, but I won't. But Darren O'Lean was just, as a nutrition and fitness major in college, I'm really into hearing about superfoods, and I'm very conscious of what I'm eating. And I'm not kidding you, if you ever have disbelief in the products that we have, you got to go read his book, and you've got to watch his videos or listen to his podcast. Shakeology is amazing. I was looking at pictures of him all around the world, finding the ingredients that's in Shakeology. And one of the slides said something like Shakeology, or why Shakeology is not expensive, or something like that. And he talked about the process of getting all of these exotic superfoods into a shake, and the fact that we can make it the price point we can, and it's coming from all over the world at the highest quality standards. I was I totally bought into that, and I'm a believer in that. And if we're going to sell a product or share about a product, I think we have to be believers. And then Jeff Hill, just super inspiring again. I wrote down: simplify, focus, and execute consistently, day in and day out. If you do the same things every day, you are going to see results. And sometimes it's not results that moment. That's, with my team, I talk about Success Club, how we may be busting our booty in the month of February. We may get a million no's, and we may not see the efforts pay off right away. But in March or April or May or whenever, you can bet that it's going to come to fruition because we worked so hard. So if you can just stay with it and realize that there's going to be some highs and lows in this business, it will pay off. And I thought I had written, and then just in closing for NLC, I wrote down what matters is not what you do with this information. And kind of like you guys sitting there, you're hearing me say things, and I know I'm talking fast, I'm sorry. But none of this matters if you're just taking it in. I think as coaches, we tend to be taking in a lot of information. We're taking in information about our challengers. We're taking information in maybe from our sponsor coaches or our upline coaches. We're reading PD. We're listening to podcasts. We're watching all of these kind of videos. And I don't know about you, but I just feel like I'm almost always on information overload. But none of it matters if you don't put it into action. So today, I want you to maybe write down some things I'm saying, or write down some ideas that you've heard from other coaches that went to NLC, and commit to taking action, and to commit to making some change or some tweak or some addition to your business so that you'll be a better coach because of it. Because it really, these words don't mean anything if they're not going to actually make a change for you. So Brittany asked for me to share my vision. And gosh, I don't even know. This business, going to NLC almost changed my vision. It gave me a sense of belonging to this family. I've kind of felt like a new coach the last 19 months. And so I really feel like I belong, and it's really changed, where I want to be. So my vision would just be, to be an elite team. This last year I was a premier team. That was so amazing to be able to lead a group of women, to impact lives, to impact challengers, to help other women become elite on my team, to help other women become premier, to help people see potential in themselves. At NLC, we were asked to write a word, and actually I finally got it off my hand. It's no joke. We wrote them on Saturday in Sharpie, and despite 2 showers and lots of hand washing, I finally got it off my hand. But it was a word that kind of embodied what it meant to be a coach. And I thought long and hard about words, and I heard words, and I kept thinking, I don't know if I love my word, but I do. The word I picked was dream. And the reason I picked the word dream is because Beachbody has allowed me to dream so many things for myself. In the world of education, I know that no matter how hard I work, there's a cap on my financial abilities, right? It doesn't matter if I put in 10 million hours or 20 hours. I have a limit to what I can do. And with 4 kids, that really limits what you can do with your family. And Beachbody has allowed me to dream bigger than possible. We've taken our kids on vacations. We've been able to, just live freely and to give freely at our church and to our community. And it's allowed me to help other women dream for things too. So another action step for you, if you haven't done so already, is to pick that word that really embodies what Beachbody means to you, or maybe has done to you in the past year. So, or 2 years or 3 years, or however long you've been in this business. So I just want to thank you for the opportunity to be on here. I'm humbled, I'm surprised, I'm blessed. I just love this Beachbody family, and I hope you guys all have a great day.